me a little nervous is that it's going to be a little crowded now. So what I mean by that is that if they, I just presumed that when they re-signed J.K. Dobbins, in my head, for whatever reason, okay, maybe it's just me thinking, okay, all right, they're going to have an insurance policy, right? In my mind, I'm thinking this, that, all right, they're not expecting him to be flawless. If he gets injured again, they're not going to, be caught with their pants down, so to speak.
Well, they're going to draft somebody.
Do you know what I mean? Right. So I just
they're going to draft somebody in the first 3 rounds.
That's what I thought. That's what I really thought. But now with Jaleel McLaughlin there, the running back room's a little crowded. Are they still planning on drafting a running back?
100%. I'll bet you $100. $100 right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'd hope so because again,
100%. 100%.
I'm not wishing ill will on J.K. Dobbins, and I'm not hoping that anybody.
It's called insurance. It's called insurance, and they got caught with their pants down last year, and it cost them.
It did, yeah, absolutely.
Like if that injury had taken place, because it was right after the trade deadline.
Yes.
They could have done something.
Right.
They could have had Breece Hall for like a third or something.
Oh my gosh.
Man, and they wanted him. He wanted Denver, and
yeah,
man,
it would have been a great. Yeah, it would have been a great fit. Yeah,
But anyways, no, they're drafting it back.
I think so.
Jaleel McLaughlin does not stop them from drafting it back in the first 3 rounds. That's right, buddy. Yeah.
Well, I'd hope that doesn't change things. And even with Jaleel McLaughlin being back, doesn't necessarily mean that he's totally going to make the team.
No.
I mean, what if they do draft a running back and, he just outperforms Jaleel McLaughlin? It doesn't necessarily mean that Jaleel McLaughlin makes the team.
No, because they'll have JK, RJ, whoever they draft. So those are 3 right there.
Yeah.
So
it obviously helps him that he knows the system. He's performed there, and he's a likable guy, and people love him.
Yeah, and that's what Sean likes his own guys, and to bring back his own guys that are at a vet minimum rather than going out and bringing in someone from the outside,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. That's Sean, because Sean Payton doesn't want to, he'd rather take a chance on somebody he knows because he knows what he's going to get from that person.
I forget who was the same, but they made example who was the receiver we signed last year? Sherfield?
Oh, right. Trent Sherfield, yes.
They brought him and then 2-year contract. It didn't work. They let him go.
They
will bring little Jordan back, and
right.
So yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but it should be interesting. Right now, when I'm going to pull it up.
Because Broncos Country have been melting down this week on the socials.
They have been. Let's talk about that, and myself somewhat included. I'm not going to say I'm guilty.
I was calming you down a bit. I was calming you down during the week. I could
right. I mean, you even had to calm me down. I mean,
I sense it, bro.
I mean, but the reason why, okay, I think that not only I or most of Broncos Country have been frustrated with the lack of external free agent signings is because of what George Payton said. George Payton.
What did you say?
Not necessarily verbatim, but
tell me what he said.
He said something like they were going to be aggressive. He used the word aggressive. Now, I don't know his exact verbiage.
What was it? I'll give you go one step above what Greg Penner said.
Yeah.
What exactly? What was it? Calculated aggressive, something in those effects.
Yeah, I mean, right. He changed the verbiage a little bit. Like he used something different. He said it differently than George Payton. And so that's, I guess, if he hadn't said that, if George Payton hadn't said that, then I wouldn't have been expecting aggressiveness, So, and I don't know if maybe we took it out of context, because maybe he didn't exactly mean in the free agency. He just said during the offseason. So maybe he means that they're going to be aggressive trying to sign somebody and they're not quite finished yet. Because there are still not drafts, there are trades that happen right before the draft or during the draft. And so
after the draft.
Right. So that could have been, taken out of context a little bit. And maybe their plan all along was to bring back as many guys as possible from last season to run it back, so to speak. But to tweak it, because we already know, excuse me, that with a couple of adjustments, they could have have gone to the Super Bowl, whether it's a fractured ankle away or
that's the big one right there, bro. That's the big one right there.
J.K. Dobbins actually playing in the AFC Championship game. I mean,
that would have made a huge difference.
Right. There's so many what ifs, okay? But there were a couple of tweaks here and there. And if things fall in place, this team could really be special. Now, that can be a double-edged sword, though. And I think that Sean Payton and George Payton both know this, is that, the Broncos won a bunch of games. I think it could have been either record-setting or at least tied the record with the most one-score game wins. You can't always bank on that. Now, if their defense plays well,
who's to say though, another year of Bo Nix getting more experience, getting better, and our young receiver is getting better. Who's to say that those one-score games don't turn into 10-point wins?
That's a good point. The other point that I think many of us are speculating is, who's to say that Davis Webb, now doing the play calling, that the offense performs better?
That's a big unknown. We don't know.
That is a big unknown, but I think
we have nothing to benchmark it on.
Very little.
Right now we're going on like hopes and
I know it is. It's a lot of hope. Really the only thing we have is he did
that one preseason game against Arizona.
Exactly. A preseason game is all we have.
Yeah, exactly. So it's unknown. It's unknown.
It is.
Right. Let me ask you. I want to ask you. Okay, you were talking about, you were maybe a bit disappointed with the free agency. Let me ask you, of the guys that got signed and the contracts and the money that got issued, which guy would you have signed?
Well, I wanted to see.
There were some wow contracts.
You're right.
Your boy Alex Pierce.
No,
he got paid.
That was a lot more than what I expected. I mean, I knew that he was going to get paid.
He's going to get paid.
I knew he was going to get the bag. Okay, I knew he was going to get paid.
He got bag.
And I'm glad the Broncos didn't get stuck with that, because, the one thing that I think the Broncos have learned is that when they made the trade for Russell Wilson, okay, they did not want to be in some sort of situation like that again, where they've overpaid for somebody. And so I'm not saying that that's the reason why they're gun shy, but I think they're a lot more, as you put it, I think calculated. They're making more calculated decisions. And but to answer your question, the one guy that I don't know if he got away, but the one guy that I would have hoped that they would have maybe had wrangled, to use kind of a cowboy analogy, would have been Travis Etienne. That's the guy that I had in mind, because there were rumblings. We all heard it, that they were high on Travis Etienne.
That's the guy they were on him.
Right.
3-4 teams that were on him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, he priced
He
himself.
got away. Yeah. He got paid.
He's getting 12 million. So how much higher do you want to go?
Yeah.
And supposedly he wanted to go back home.
Right.
So
he's from that area. Yeah. And it is what it is.
That's free agency. You can't control all these variables.
You can't. And again, I'm not unhappy that J.K. Dobbins is back. I think I'm on record of having said it on this show.
I love J.K.
I know, I do too, and I'm on record.
He's bound to have a healthy season.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. And because I said it on the Bucking Truth, okay, that I mean, when he was averaging 5 yards a carry, okay, when he is healthy, he is one of statistically the best running backs in the NFL. So by all means, I'm not unhappy that they've brought him back, because as long as he's playing, he runs with authority, with passion. And you can't always have a back like that. Some players, just don't have that. Some players will have a down or a game where they're not going to run with their knees up or lowering their shoulder. He does this every single time. He falls forward. I've never seen him.
He doesn't take a loss.
I know he doesn't. I've never seen him take a loss. I mean, if there was a play, I don't remember it. And so I'm a big JK guy. Okay.
He's just got to stay healthy.
And no pun intended. I'm not kidding, because the initials for JK is just kidding. I'm not kidding. And I am. My only concern, obviously, is will he stay healthy? And
for sure.
And the thing is I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, Jeffrey, because last season his injury wasn't based on his fault. It was from an illegal tackle. So it's not like it was a conditioning issue or something.
Yeah, nothing with his, weak body
right.
or whatever,
Yeah, it's not like he wasn't drinking enough water or, So I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that last season was a little bit of a fluke. Okay. And the Broncos staff, I forget his name, but the guy that they have on their medical and conditioning. Yeah. That he's supposed to be some sort of guru in regards to, preventing injuries. And so
hopefully JK will be in Denver like the entire offseason, because he signed late last year. So hopefully that can make a difference too.
It'll hopefully make a big difference, right?
Yeah, so, and then like I said, guaranteed first 3 rounds, they will draft a running back.
I think so. I've expected it ever since they did sign with JK that they would do that. The only wrench in that plan that I had in mind was that Jaleel McLaughlin, but you make a good point.
No, Jaleel doesn't prevent them from.
He doesn't prevent them from drafting a running back, and even with Jaleel there, it doesn't mean he'll
like little Jordan Humphrey signing doesn't prevent them from drafting a receiver,
right? And because
they're filling the roster,
they are, and it's okay, because we've talked about this, that it just makes whether you call it a wide receiver room or running back room, it makes it more competitive when it is full.
You need depth. Depth. It's football. Guys are going to get banged up and hurt, and you need guys to step in. So
yeah, we'll make it more competitive, and so it's not a bad thing. Well, anyway, let's do this. I'm going to bring up. I'm on my computer screen here. I want to bring up the remaining free agents that are available, and let's talk about some of them.
Here, nothing. Okay.
Well, nothing. Yeah, nothing happening like right now, but just a couple of them I think would be a good fit. Not all of them, but a couple. So I want to share my screen right here, and we'll just talk about a couple that I think will be a good fit. A good fit.
You okay there?
A little bit of a tickle. I'm getting over just a little bit of a cold.
Yeah.
All right.
Been there.
go. So the first, I don't know if you can see it.
Kirk Cousins,
Showing
what the
up.
hell?
Yeah, there we go. Kirk Cousins. Obviously, that's not the one I'm talking about. But the next one wouldn't be bad. But I don't.
Okay, Brian Robinson.
Excuse me. So Brian Robinson Jr. It's just a really weird thing with what happened to him. Okay, two seasons ago, he was actually one of the best running backs in the NFL for the Commanders. You know, the Washington Commanders used him brilliantly. And then all of a sudden, they draft, another running back, and all of a sudden they've got a really deep running back room, and they decide, okay, we've got such a deep running back room, we can actually trade him to San Francisco. So he gets drafted or not drafted, he gets traded to San Francisco, and he just gets kind of discarded, right? He just, I just feel like he was underutilized. And I get it. When you have Christian McCaffrey, you're not going to necessarily give another guy as many touches.
Especially when he was healthy.
Would.
He was healthy last year.
Right. And knock on wood, I hope that Christian McCaffrey continues to stay healthy.
He's a star.
Yeah, he is. Obviously, we're as Broncos fans, we love his dad, Ed McCaffrey, and so we would have loved to have seen Chris McCaffrey as a Bronco. But anyway, so my thoughts are Brian Robinson Jr. here. It's not a bad fit either, but right now with JK having been signed, I don't think that's going to be a very likely scenario right there.
I think they're going to address that in the draft.
Yes. So I do think the most thing would be to draft another running back. However, Juwan Jennings is still available. That's not bad. What do you think about Juwan Jennings, who has spent?
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog of a receiver. I've heard. I don't know how legit these, but supposedly the Chargers are interested in him. I don't know.
Yes.
I just saw it fantastic. So no, I think he would be. I think he would be a good fit. He's an absolute dog of a receiver. Physical.
Yeah.
Probably a guy that could come in like on third down and grab the rock and move the chains. I think that's maybe the type of receiver they would be looking for.
Yes. And that's what I like the most. So you hit it right on the head right there. You hit the nail right on the head. Is right here it reads why he is still available, age and market. So Jennings is a useful player and thrives on third downs and inside the red zone. So again, you were spot on, Jeffrey. Where teams really need their wide receivers to make plays, he can win on contested catches in tight quarters, making him a reliable target for young quarterbacks with a habit of putting the ball in danger. Jennings is also tough physically, where he's 6'3", famously told reporters last year that he was playing through 5 broken ribs and both low and high ankle sprains. So he can play injured. So not that I'm, advocating that anybody do that, but he has done that before. So he's not just a guy that's going to have like a small injury and then he's going to, be out of the game.
He's a dog.
Yeah, he's very tough. So that's a good one. That might be a good fit. And here's the other one that this guy, I'm reading from ESPN, okay? And I want to give the guy credit. Let me see. I forget who wrote it. Bill Barnwell. Yeah. Anyway, he's projecting the best fit is actually Deebo Samuel. Now, that's an interesting choice because his name was kind of linked last season with the Broncos, if you remember.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, mostly because Deebo. I think it was mostly because of Deebo, because Deebo had mentioned before he got signed by the Washington Commanders that he really liked Denver.
He was traded. Huh?
Yeah, he got
Traded.
signed. I think he right now he only signed a 1-year deal
Well,
with
I
the
think he was traded.
Commanders.
He was traded to Washington from San
Was
Fran.
he? Okay.
I believe
At any
so.
rate,
Yeah.
he right now is a
So
free
he's a free
agent.
agent now.
Hmm.
Okay.
And right now, he's got wear and tear, perpetually either the best or among the best yards after catch,
Yeah.
which is good. But Samuel is rarely seen at 100%, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
another
kind of
knock on him.
for a couple of years now. So
Yeah, he's managed to regularly stay. He has managed to regularly stay on the field for over the past 3 years, just missing just 5 games over that span. But he has been limited to a sub 50% snap share 5 more times over that span. That's that same span. So I don't know. I mean, he's 30 years old, so if that does ever happen, it would be only a 1-year deal if it were to happen, in my mind, But it may. I don't know. It could happen. I wouldn't be against having a seasoned vet come in to kind of make the wide receiver room a little spicier. But I almost see them just rolling with what they have right now,
yeah,
unless
if
they make a
they
trade.
possible. Yeah.
Unless they make a trade, but we'll see what happens. Again, I think if they do make a trade, it's going to be calculated because I don't think they're going to overpay for somebody.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, so the one that is really intriguing would be David Njoku, the tight end.
Yeah.
Now, here's my knock on David Njoku, and we've talked about his name previously on the Bucking Truth here. Is that the cool thing about David Njoku is he's got a bigger body, so his frame is decent size. Although for his size, he's not the best blocking tight end, right? But he's got great hands.
Yeah. He's a willing blocker. Maybe not the best, but
yeah. So it reads right here from Barnwell. The veteran tight end missed 11 games over his final 2 years in Cleveland.
Okay.
Most recently because of a knee injury. His route efficiency went way down over that stretch as Njoku went from averaging 11.3 yards per catch over his 3-year peak in Cleveland to just 8.2 yards per reception over the 2 most recent campaigns. But between 2021 and 2023, Njoku had 22 catches on throws traveling 15 or more yards in the air.
Right.
So he's great in the red zone. He very good tight end to throw the.
Yeah, I think they're looking at him. I think.
Yeah.
And if the price is right, they might pull the trigger. And I believe he's a post June 1, so he wouldn't count against the comp pick.
Because that is correct.
I think the Broncos are very conscious of that.
Mm-hmm.
As the 2026 draft, from what I've heard, is kind of like the 2026 free agency, which is kind of mid.
Yes.
Whereas the draft next year is lights out.
Yes, it's a much better situation.
And I think already they have, with JFM, they have a 4th round comp, and with PJ Locke, they have a 7th. I think they're really very conscious about not doing anything to upset that cart. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
No, I've got the same vibe.
Pretty much the Jacksonville general manager, he pretty much went out and said that.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He was a lot more.
I kind of got a feeling that that's kind of the vibe too.
Yeah.
In the Broncos headquarters.
Yeah, I've gotten that vibe too, and I'm totally with you on that. I think that's
it's a stacked draft.
It's going to be a lot more valuable, right?
Like there's a lot of like this year, there's not much for quarterbacks,
Yeah, I mean, you've got Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, and then there's it's really the
look,
best.
if he was in the same draft 2 years ago
Oh my
with
gosh, yeah,
Caleb, Drake,
right.
he would probably be the 7th.
He would be, yeah, he would be.
So let's
Yeah.
thank
I mean,
goodness the Raiders decided to get the first pick this year.
oh my
there's
gosh!
no-
Speaking of which,
oh
let's
wow.
talk about the train wreck that just happened.
Okay,
Okay,
oh my God, what a disaster.
so just recently, Max Crosby had been, for all intents and purposes, traded
Yeah.
to Baltimore, to the Ravens. And then what? Almost or a little less than a day later.
It was a couple of days.
Was it a couple of days? Yeah, we hear
yeah.
that it was nixed. That Baltimore had rescinded it, and
or physical.
Yeah,
failed the physical.
According to the reports, that they looked at his, whatever medical records, or they
got cold feet. They
got cold feet, whatever it is, but they decided not to go through with it.
Yeah.
And I can't help, the Broncos fan in me can't help but laugh, okay? Because it's just hilarious, because you can't write this stuff. You can't write it any better than this. You can't. I mean, it's better than fiction, because, okay, now that it's happened, I mean, Max Crosby, I mean, bless his heart, as they say in the U.S. South, right? In the South, in the U.S., they say that it's more of a backhanded compliment. Oh, bless your heart. And that's what this is that, man, he's saying all the right things, but he's got to feel like, man, they didn't want me, but I'm here,
And he's a Raider to his core,
And he always has been.
He didn't want to be traded.
He did it until last season. Okay, at the end of last season, that's when he had his injury. But according to him, his injury wasn't so severe that he couldn't play.
They wanted to shut him down, and
they did. He wanted to play, and he didn't feel like his injury was severe enough that it would have kept him out, and he wanted to play. So he was frustrated that they shut him down, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so I really didn't think he was ever going to be traded until last season, at the end of last season, I should say, when that all happened.
Yeah, because there's always been a few speculations, I said, no, I'm a Raider. Anyway, so kind of not the best.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen now. Whether he stays 24 hours,
then they signed Hendrickson.
Hendrickson, who is very good, but I really, I like Max Crosby better. I do.
Oh, Max is a stud. He's amazing. Sean Payton was ready to pay the tickets to put him on the private jet to get out of the AFC West.
Oh my gosh, he sent him like a text message or something. Yeah,
I love Sean. Sean's the best.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So that was
interesting.
That was wild. So I don't know.
That was wild. That was really wild. And
now, Crosby, he's back with the Undertaker gift coming out of the casket, and
but
he's back.
But what is going to happen with that? Because I don't know. They went and signed a bunch of the Raiders. I mean,
they had like $300 million in cap, so it's okay.
Yeah. Will they be able to? Afford both him and their free agent signings, or do you think they'll still try to trade Max Crosby even after this happened?
I think probably they still do.
I think they would, but it's obviously going to be a little bit more difficult, and that's what's so frustrating. I can imagine if I were,
they're probably not going to get this
same value, right?
I mean,
you'd have to do a little bit of a discount because of what happened. I mean, you'd think.
No, but it's a mess. I'm glad it's not my mess.
Yeah, exactly, and that's again why it's a little funny for me. As a Denver Broncos fan, it's hilarious that this has happened to the Las Vegas Raiders. But classic Raiders things
that I loathe,
Yeah.
The Ravens and the Raiders.
Yeah, so glad this isn't happening to our favorite team and the franchise that we adore because, ever since the Walton Penner Group has become the owners, I've been nothing but impressed. Okay, I've been extremely impressed with this new management and ownership group.
They've just raised the standards and
exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So happy with them.
Yeah, no, we're very fortunate.
Anyway, so let's see what happens because this should be interesting before the draft. The draft is in April, so it's not going to be too far away.
6 weeks.
Yeah, not too far away. We
like
expect.
A long time, but
I know, in football standards, it does because Ben, I miss football, but it's not too far away.
Yeah. So no, we'll be able to do some draft talk and everything. Some prospects will be coming in for visits and let the rumors and speculations begin.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really sign J.K. Dobbins until, what was it? It was late.
Last year it was like June or something.
Yeah. And so there still is a chance that if they don't draft a tight end, which let's just be honest, okay? I hope that Kenyon Sadiq is available, but realistically, he's probably not going to be available at 30. If he slides at 30, if he slides
after his combine,
I know exactly. After he
was slim pickings before, and
I know, and then he shined. Okay,
I think now am I being conservative at?
He might
top 15. I mean,
yeah, he might be drafted 10, 12, maybe 15. You're right. I doubt he'd be available at 30. If he is, great, but chances are he's not. And so there is still a chance the Broncos could still sign David Njoku, because they want to take advantage of that, like they did last year with JK, and sign him after the June 1st.
Yeah, I believe they will draft the tight end this year. I know they missed out on last year's not quite generational, but very excellent tight end draft class. And
what a
could they had looked really hard and just the way but I think
it's a fair assessment. I mean, it was a better tight end class last season as far as the draft goes, and
overall,
and so it's fair. I don't. It's like at that point where I'm not ready to say yet that they shouldn't have drafted Jahdae Barron. Because we don't quite know what's going to happen yet.
Yeah, it's still too early.
But, it's kind of like back in, 2018 when they drafted Bradley Chubb instead of Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Okay, we can safely say that the Broncos missed out on Josh Allen at that point, And
the thing is, I'm convinced we wouldn't have developed him.
That's a good point. At that time, the Broncos didn't have necessarily the best staff to develop him. So
give the Bills credit; they were patient with Josh because the first 2 years were
pretty rough.
They weren't pretty, and they stuck with it. They
wasn't polished,
and now good for them. They reap the rewards. But I would love to see them draft a young tight end, develop them because it's been so long.
It has. They haven't had a productive tight end since Julius Thomas. The last tight end that the Broncos drafted that was somewhat productive was Noah Fant, and he didn't have the production that Julius Thomas did. Obviously he had Peyton Manning on, as his quarterback. So, but that other than Noah Fant, they really haven't drafted a very good tight end.
So it would be nice. So I'm thinking the first few rounds in no particular order: running back, inside linebacker, because this is an incredible class for inside linebackers, and tight end.
I'm with you, brother. I think those are the three needs.
And I'm pretty sure they will draft another receiver.
Yeah, and I think they
just keep.
Whether it's deeper rounds, I think they might either draft a a safety just so they get deeper because
Yeah, we lost
unfortunately,
PJ. So.
yes, exactly. Unfortunately, we did lose PJ Locke. We do have Devin Key, who has experience, and so I think that he may have a better opportunity. But either they sign a free agent or they draft another guy. We'll see what happens.
Sure,
but
they'll need to address the depth there for sure.
Inside
Brandon
linebackers.
Jones is in his last year of his contract.
Yes,
so.
right. We'll see what happens that way too. Yeah, you never quite
you
know.
always got to look ahead on these things.
You do. You've got to look at developing guys, and you got to look at signing a veteran so that when you do draft a guy, you give him time to develop. I mean, there's so many different layers to this. But I am on board, by the way, going back a little bit from what you just said a moment ago about inside linebackers. A guy who plays inside linebacker who played inside linebacker at Texas Tech. I believe it's Mark. Is it Mark Rodriguez?
Jacob.
I think that's his name.
Jacob.
That's right. Jacob Rodriguez. Yes. Yes, the guy with the fancy or popular or famous mustache.
Yeah.
All of the fans at Texas Tech wear the fake mustaches. Yeah.
God, my God.
He became a real fan favorite, a real crowd pleaser, and the crowds.
No, he's really good. He's really good.
I like him a lot. He's another guy I don't know that will be available, but if he is, I think the Broncos should draft him. I'm really high on him.
Me too. He shot up after his combine performance.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the dilemma.
No, I don't think he'd be there with our second round pick.
That's the unfortunate position that the Broncos have fallen in, which is a good one, that they performed so well, in a season that they're not going to have a great opportunity to draft because they went further.
You're way down the ladder, You're way down the ladder.
It's a good position to be in.
I will take that anytime.
Right.
No problem. No problem. Like
because you can always.
George, do what you do best and draft, and that's George's baby.
It is his baby. Yeah.
So just regards to it's a really great and deep inside linebacker class, so they don't have to target on one guy.
Right.
They can have if we're good with
another
four or five guys, then okay.
It has been It's a position that I think it's been kind of revolving a little bit because we had Josie Jewell. They drafted him, played really well. Then when the former defensive coordinator left, went to Carolina, who's still with them. But by the way, yes, Josie Jewell went to Carolina, the Panthers, and the Denver Broncos have tried to kind of solidify that through free agency and through the draft. They drafted Drew Sanders. The guy just, unfortunately, your best ability, quote unquote, is your availability. And unfortunately, Drew Sanders has just not been available, but the Denver Broncos have tried their best to kind of solve that problem. But last year they tried to solve it by signing Dre Greenlaw, and his problem is also becoming available, and so we'll see what happens, but
I'm pretty convinced that this year they will truly address it with a premium pick,
I hope so. It's a very important thing to solidify because Alex Singleton, I'm a big Alex Singleton guy. Of course, we know he's tough. He's played with a torn ACL for the remainder of a game before, played with testicular cancer. He's tough. All right. He epitomizes tough.
2 weeks or something.
Yeah. But one of his, he doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses, but if we can sort of, talk about one of his weaknesses is that he's not the best linebacker when he's covering somebody in pass coverages. He, especially the beginning of last season when he was coming off that injury, he was a little suspect. because, and rightfully so, he was coming off his injury. I thought he performed better as the season progressed.
He did. I agree.
As the season did progress, I thought he improved.
Yeah.
But early on, that was an issue, and it has been in his career just a little bit. As I'm not picking on him, but we can give people accolades and praise them, and then we can also talk about things that maybe they can improve. And that's been somewhat of a weakness of his, although it's been masked by his he's so fierce, fierce competitor. And I mean, the last season in the playoffs against Buffalo, he forced that fumble, that hit. He's just made some great plays, and he's had almost for the last 3 seasons, had the most tackles for the defense for the Denver Broncos as well. So again, I'm a big Alex Singleton guy, and so I know that there have been some talk around Broncos fans and Broncos country that they thought maybe this, out of all the seasons recently, that this could have been one of the seasons where he could have been the odd man out, until we found out that Dre Greenlaw was the odd man out, and I Dre Greenlaw, when he was available, he was a big difference maker, and unfortunately, he just wasn't available enough, and I was hoping they'd give him another chance, but I don't necessarily fault the Broncos.
I don't think his postseason comments went over too well.
They didn't, no. In regards to something like Vance Joseph's defense was like learning Spanish or something.
And what the practices.
Oh, right. And Vance Joseph said something like the reason why he was on a pitch count wasn't because of his health, which we all thought. It was more of that he hadn't learned the system well enough. That was interesting. Yeah.
So, anyways, they took a swing. It didn't work out.
It didn't work out. I wish him well.
He's back home. He's back home in San Fran, where I think he wanted to be.
He'll be reuniting in San Fran. So we wish him the best, and the Broncos will move forward and either draft another inside linebacker.
They will.
And I hope they draft another dog. If Drew Sanders, who knows?
Whatever.
Right now we can't count on Drew Sanders. His name keeps on popping up every season. Until we see him play a full season, I'm not gonna really expect him to play a full season. So we'll be mildly surprised if that does happen.
Exactly.
Anyway, my brother, let's end this.
Let's end
this and just say this is the bucking truth.
It is.
If you're a diehard Denver Broncos fan, you've come to the bucking right place. We appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments what you thought, what your comments are. If you like his cat. Yeah. All right, but anyway, thank you.
Next to me the whole day.
Thanks for watching us.
He knows it's supper time. Please subscribe, and throw some comments. Let us know what you think. Let us. Are you Bronco Country? Are you agitated with the free agency
or lack of free agent signings?
Breathe, guys. Breathe. Breathe. It's gonna work out.
Breathe. Pump the brakes. Simmer down. Bringing back guys that are already proven to help the Broncos have 14 wins in one season is not a bad thing. You already have. So I've simmered down myself, and I'm more okay with it now than before. And especially now that
we did some kumbaya exercises.
Little yoga, some Tai Chi walking.
That's it. Wusa.
And let's remember that, Sean Payton has a plan, and I am very excited about Davis Webb and what that may do to Marvin Mims, and hopefully what that may also do to not only the running game, but just Marvin Mims, because I think that we've been Oh my gosh.
We've been dealt on this.
It's almost like beating a dead horse because we've been talking about this every single week nearly about Marvin Mims needing more touches, more targets, so on and so forth. So I'm excited.
Things happen
Every time.
Marvin.
Every time you give him a chance to shine, he does. He shines.
You know?
So Marvin Mims, I really feel that Davis Webb can help him flourish.
Yeah,
And then,
so.
and I know we're going to end this, and we will. But interesting thing, okay, I know that the Patriots just paid mega bucks, okay, for Romeo Doubs. Interestingly enough, guess whose production, receiving yards and receptions were slightly higher than Romeo Doubs last season? Troy Franklin. Yes. What a bargain, right? We've got Troy Franklin, who has not been, I should say, the Green Bay Packers' #1 wide receiver. Romeo Doubs has been the wide receiver 1 for the Packers. And Troy Franklin is not a wide receiver 1, although last season his targets and, obviously went up. But nonetheless, I think that says a lot about the Broncos believing in Troy Franklin, Bo Nix believing in Troy Franklin. Mm-hmm. And
one more year of experience for him.
Oh, my gosh.
He's just going to keep.
Again,
that's my belief.
I do too. I think that Davis Webb is going to show that Marvin Mims is going to flourish. I think that Troy Franklin will flourish. And I think that the run game, if we can just keep JK healthy enough, that we'll have a solid run game going into the next, postseason. It should be a very exciting season. But anyway.
Can't wait.
This is the bucking truth, you guys. You're bucking right.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Buck, yeah.
Love you, bro.
Appreciate you. All right, you too, brother. Have a good weekend.